Alrighty, greetings ladies and gentlemen. As some of you might already know, my name is Phil and I'm with Pragmatic Trading. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I for sure did. And I hope you found some value in my previous video. This is my second analysis, my second video. I wanted to make a short and a quick weekly update. I know it's Monday, it's still early to say anything about the week, but I see some things that are worth mentioning. So, let's get going. In my previous video, I've talked about how I trade the news. When I enter the trade, what things do I avoid to secure my capital, and how do I look at news in general. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hoped you found some value in it. Now it's time for a new one. So before I start analyzing the market or talking about my targets, my current bias about what can happen next, I would like to get back to my previous video to play 30 or 50 seconds of it so you can hear what did I have to say, okay? If I want to do that, I need to turn up the volume, turn off this music temporarily. I hope it doesn't bother you, and turn up the volume in my OBS studio. So let's hear what did I have to say for a moment, okay? An asset moves where the most liquidity is. That's what I see. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Doesn't matter, it is what happened on the chart. So to me it is fairly surprising in a way, and it is, excuse my vocabulary, it is kind of magnificent how all of us look at the same chart and yet we see completely different and similar things. So what's gonna happen now? I don't have a clue, but what I know is that the price and asset will move towards where the most liquidity is, right? In my opinion, my current bias is that I'm gonna stay in this short. We will take these lows and we will go much lower eventually. But alrighty, so I don't want to brag about it, but I clearly said I think we will go much lower eventually. At the time of making this video, the price of this asset, price of Bitcoin, was at 27.2 approximately, and now we're currently sitting at 26.1.2, so that's a $1,000 move. It's not much lower, but it is significantly lower when compared to this zone here. Now, before I jump into this second analysis of mine, I want to go to my Twitter page, okay, and I want to show you two things. First, I would like to show you something that I posted on 22nd of September. That was on Friday, like 2 days after the FOMC. So we all know what was the outcome of the FOMC meeting and federal funds rate readings. We rejected from these daily and 4-hour trend lines. We went down, and that's all nice and fine and good. I'm happy. I got what I wanted in a way. But I want you to focus on this one. So I've talked about the volume profile of the whole range. You can see it on the right. And I've talked about some confluence zones I see on the charts currently. So you will notice, if you look carefully, at these two pictures, you'll see that I've marked two zones. I have them on my charts. I'm going to show you in a moment. So the first zone is the point of control, the second zone is value area low. Here I have some different fib pulls. I'm going to show you which pulls I see there, and I'm going to show you why I think this bounce would happen at this first zone here and at the second zone, which is a bit lower below. So I'm going to open the second picture now, and I'll show you what happened last night. So before I went to sleep, I placed some limit orders. A reminder, these are just a visualization of the trades that I am taking. So this is clearly a long trade. We can see the entry, we can see the stop loss, and we can see the take profit zone. Why is the take profit zone here? Well, what did I say here? I will close 100% of my long position here as a part of a structural retest. Almost nice 1 to 5 risk to reward trade. Major swing short remains open. So my short remains open. I am currently in a long and in a short, and I will explain why. So let's go one by one. Let's go back to the 4-hour time frame so we can see what happened. I will open my object tree and we will go one by one. So I have this folder, it's called bouncing spots, and in that folder I put everything I had from this picture. Okay, everything I have here in this picture I have in that folder. So let's go one by one and let's see what do we have. First we have a trend-based fib extension. It is the major one. I don't need it currently. I'll tell you why later. I have these two rectangles. So how did I get these two zones? One would say, okay, you draw random rectangles and you hope the price will reject there or react, but that's not how it goes. Let me play some music so I can be more. Alrighty, before that I almost forgot to turn down the volume. Let's turn down the volume, let's play some music, let's roll, let's rock and roll. So we can already see these 4-hour candles react to this zone. Why this zone? Well, let's see. First we have a trend-based fib extension of this whole move down. So when I say of this whole move down, I mean this is a wave. 1, 2, and 3. So I am measuring, by using fib extension, I am measuring the potential of that move down, of that wave down, right? And what can we see? Well, we are already reacting on these two fib zones. Alrighty, we know that. Now, what did I measure here? I measure the downwards potential of this move up. Maybe it doesn't make much sense when I say that, but you'll see that the price, once again, Bitcoin is reacting to this zone, you see? So we have those two zones at the same place. What else do we have? Let me see if this is significant. Oh, look at that. What did I measure here? I measured the potential of this move up. I measured the downwards potential of this move up. How did I do that? Well, I did that using the fib retracement. And look, no wonder price is reacting to this zone here, almost to the dollar. So we have 3 different pools which guide us to the same place. And besides all of that, I have a typical fib retracement of the whole range from here, from this bottom to this local top here. Okay? So, of course, when I switch from log and non-log charts, things will look a bit different, right? They will not look the same, but you can clearly see this is a fib web. It is a place where many different pools and their fib levels meet, okay? So when I put these fibs one by one, they make more sense. When I put them all at once like this, of course it looks messy, but for you and for me, because this is my chart, it is very important to know what each fib level presents, okay? So, besides all of these things, in my last video I've showed you the anchored volume profile of the whole range, is that right? What else do we have there? Well, let's turn off these fibs for a moment, and we will see that the point of control of this whole range is exactly at the same place where these fib pools meet, right? So those are the main reasons why I am trying to long here. I repeat, my swing short remains open because I see us going much lower. But for now, it is always a good thing to secure your profits, to be pragmatic, and to be completely detached from any outcome. How can you be detached if you depend on the outcome? Well, if you are fully hedged, if you know your zones, if you know your levels, you can easily be fully hedged, and you simply don't care where the asset will go next. So, as for this long, what I like about it is that I used my confluence from this analysis. I'm just using another chart which is clearer to show you. What is interesting about it? Let's turn on the line chart. What do we see? Lower lows, higher lows. So this is 1 hour bullish divergence. What is important about divergences? Well, RSI and divergences are just a tool, right? We have many different tools. I see many traders, investors, and let's call them crypto influencers, right? They brag about how this tool is the best, this tool is the worst, this tool is the most useful one, this tool is completely useless. So I hate to break it to you, but every tool is as useful as you can use it in your analysis and trading. So every single tool that you have on TradingView or somewhere on some other website is useful as long as you use it properly and as long as you don't use it to confirm your unhealthy bias, right? So what is the thing with divergences? Well, people usually jump on the train very early and they think, okay, there's a divergence, it will play out immediately. It doesn't have to be like that, okay? Sometimes you can see the divergence being formed, regular bullish or regular bearish, whatever. This one is a regular bullish divergence, of course. Sometimes you see it being formed and you jump on the train too early and then the whole divergence is invalidated, an asset keeps going down, etc. Now, why do I have this confidence in this divergence here? Well, we already have 2 or 3 higher lows in the RSI and 2 or 3 lower lows in the price action. Price has an asset, I'm sorry, I always keep saying price. When I say price, I mean Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is already reacting to this zone. It is interesting to me that this divergence on 1 hour time frame is being formed right at the level of demand, of support, right? Why? Well, I showed you like 5 minutes ago why I think this point of control and this zone could be a nice place for a temporary bounce. Why will I take profits here? Well, because I'm not greedy. Because there's a 4 hour divergence way above. I showed you that in my previous video. If you haven't watched it, I recommend you to watch it because it's a very useful video. So for now, I'm in this long. My midterm bias stays to the downside for the obvious reasons stated in the previous video and this one, but my current short-term bias stays to the upside because I believe, among other things, many people shorted this candle here and this range and they will be punished if they don't close their short positions. Why am I taking profits here? Well, first, that's almost 4 or 5 risk to reward ratio. It's a structural retest, so this support, if I can call it like that, could be retested as resistance before continuing down. What else do I have? Well, I told you guys that every single tool is useful, so as long as you know how to use it, you will be able to analyze the market properly. So we know what are these fibs, we know that the point of control is here, we know that the next zone of support where I'll be looking for a bounce is value area low in these fib zones here, but I will turn this off for now and I will turn on something else. Give me a second. Local pitchforks. Okay, so when this range was formed, when you have a significant low, significant high, and significant low, you can easily draw a new pitchfork, okay? So, in the same way this volume profile is represents the movement, the volume profile of the whole range, in the same way this pitchfork can be used for this range. So what do we see here? Well, I'll turn off this anchored volume profile, and when we see this, we see that we have some reactions, breakdown, median line, a retest, etc. But always and always remember to use both non-log and log charts. Why? Well, look at this. Do you see the bottom of this wick? We all see it, right? It's right here. When I switch from log to non-log chart, we will see that we have bounced exactly to the dollar to the cent from this level here. And what are we doing now? Now we are retesting this level above. That's very interesting, right? Now, what did I forget to mention in my previous video? Well, do you see this candle? This is a typical retest of the trend line, right? Breakdown, consolidation, retest, continuation, right? So why am I making this analysis? Well, I'm making this analysis to show you what did I see in my previous video during the FOMC and what do I see now. So since this is a weekly analysis, Monday analysis, I need to be more precise, right? So what's the thing with this pitchfork? Well, this is a local pitchfork. It can't be as strong as other macro pitchforks like this one that I showed you in my previous video, but it can be very useful. The way I use pitchforks is, I wouldn't say it's completely unique, but I haven't seen anyone using the pitchfork levels as and I haven't seen anyone using the pitchforks in the same way that I do. So to me, bottom of the pitchfork is a very good place to try and long. Top of the pitchfork is a very good place to try and short. I've talked about that in my previous video, right? So if we ever go to the bottom of the pitchfork, I will be longing. And if we ever go to the top of the pitchfork, I will be shorting. Now, since I am already in a swing short, I will take some partial profits here, even though I believe we could break down eventually after a bounce and more ranging. Why? Because we have a bigger, more important macro pitchfork whose bottom is right here, right around 23.5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is how two pitchforks fight for who's gonna be the boss of price movement. So I'll turn off this one, I'll turn off this one, I'll show you the bouncing spots again, and I will explain why am I currently staying this long. This is a clear bullish divergence, regular bullish divergence being formed. I am lucky to be in a swing short from the very highs where the 4-hour divergence is. I think I don't need to state the obvious, but maybe I do for some people who have only started using divergences. 4-hour bearish divergence in a downtrend is stronger than the 1-hour bullish divergence in the same downtrend. So what can this be? Well, it can be a divergence for us going up, but I believe we will keep going down. I don't care where Bitcoin will go because I'm fully hedged, and as far as I'm concerned, it can go anywhere it wants. Let's go back to the daily time frame. What do we see here? Let me turn this off. Let me remove this one. Alrighty. What do we see here? Well, we see that the asset, Bitcoin, struggled to close the daily candles above the trend line. So I know that many people are talking about a big liquidity pool above this wick, right? Around 28.2, 3, 4, and 5, etc. And we can see this liquidity loophole. I'm not sure how to say it, but we can see that this zone of drop hasn't been retested at all. I am very well aware of that fact, but I cannot be blinded by something I see it might happen in the future. Yes, there's always a chance that might happen, but I always suggest you to create a scenario where and how can that happen. In my opinion, the first thing that should happen for us to get there would be to reconquer this trend line as support again and then move up. Without that, I don't see us going there yet. Okay? Simple as that. And I know it's just a trend line, but believe it or not, this trend line that you see here has already produced a very nice 5.2% downwards move. So that's one of the reasons. Of course, this structure here and this structure here needs to be conquered as supports again if we even want to think about going up. So Some of you might say, well, you always talk price will go up and down, blah blah blah. I need to tell you something, and I need to be brutally honest. I have a lot of experience in analyzing, trading, and seeing different people saying different things, as well as hearing myself saying different things, and I always, now and always, I will have two scenarios at least, up and down. In my personal opinion, people who can't comprehend that the price can go up and down at any given moment will never be successful analysts or traders or whatever, okay? So if you want to keep watching my videos, if you find some value in my videos, please get used to the fact that I will always have up and down scenarios. I might be inclined to believe price will go up at a certain point in time and price will go down, but that's just my personal bias. I will always have targets and scenarios for both up and down. So guys, I don't want to make this video any longer. It's 420. Happy 420 to the Blazers. I'm not a Blazer anymore. I was back when I was young, but now I'm perfectly clean. So my current bias remains to the downside for the ever obvious reasons. I will be very careful with these bouncing spots. I might take profits partially from my short, but I will not close the whole short trade for sure. So for these obvious reasons, my current bias will stay to the downside. Even when I look at this anchored volume profile, I realize that we still can and probably will retest the value area low of this range. Why? Well, this range has its volume profile. We can see that we have escaped above and we found some acceptance back into the range, right? You know what's interesting here? I almost forgot. Well, do you see this wick here? If I go back to the non-log chart, we can see that this was the trend line retest after a drop. And no wonder this is also the value area high of the whole range. So you can always find confluence as long as you use tools properly. If you don't use them properly, of course, they will lie to you. But in reality, you are lying to yourself to confirm your bias, which isn't there. It's only in your head. So as for this week, I expect this week to provide us with more ranging. I expect this week to give us lower targets and possibly higher targets if we find some solid support below or here. For now, my long stays open. I am more than okay with getting stopped out because I am in a huge winning streak. I have my short open and this is just a hedge. If you manage your risk, you shouldn't care if the trade doesn't go your way. Trading is just like life. In life, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And it doesn't matter what happens as long as you learn from each situation. Why do you learn? Well, if you want to have a better life, you will learn from your losses, you will learn from your victories, right? So, my dear ladies and gentlemen, this is it. If I see something else important on the chart, I will let you know. I will make another update. I will make at least 2 videos a week, if not more, because I spend a lot of time looking at the charts and analyzing them. So to me, what I'm doing for you and for myself is nothing too difficult. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy analyzing. I enjoy talking about the price of an asset, and I enjoy sharing my knowledge and experience with you. So once again, if you find some value in my videos, if you like what you're seeing and hearing, and even if you don't like that, I would really appreciate if you take your time to click the like button, right? Click the like button, click the subscribe button, and if you're really interested in my future updates, you can easily click the bell button near the subscribe button so you can get a notification when I post a new video. Also, I would really like to hear your thoughts and opinions, so if you have time, if you want to discuss about the price of Bitcoin or an asset, if you have any suggestions, if you want me to analyze some other assets, some altcoins or something, feel free to leave a comment. I will make sure to read your comment, reply, and do what you want me to do, right? So guys, once again, thank you for listening, thank you for being here with me. I wish you a successful week and a peaceful week ahead. As always, Pragmatic Trading loves you and wishes you the best. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a nice day. This is the second video of the weekly update. So if you watch my videos, and I hope you do because there's a lot of value in them, a lot of knowledge. If you watch my videos, you will notice that most of my videos, especially the weekly updates, are made of 2 or even 3 videos merged together. Why do I do that? Well, when I make a video, let's say I make it on Monday, right? Something happens in regards to the price action, and I want to keep you as updated as possible, so I will sometimes make 2 videos in 2 days, and I will merge them together to make one weekly analysis. As I promised before, I will do my best to keep you updated as possible, and I will do everything that's in my power to be there for you, to analyze the market, and to share what I see with you. So, in this video, like in the beginning of this video that I filmed yesterday on Monday, right, on 25th of September, I showed you a few things. Among all of those things, I've showed you my long setup. So I'll switch to my Twitter page for a moment. I suggest you to follow me on Twitter. My username is PragmaTrader. The name of the page is Pragmatic Trading. And sometimes when I don't have time to make a video, I post my updates here. So what did I post? Visual presentation of a long setup, approximate targets, I've already talked about that I might take to hedge my swing short position. I wouldn't put too much hope in it, only as a scalp or as a minor swing inside of a bearish retest bounce. I have explained why this zone in the video I'll publish tomorrow, so I am referring to this video. Let's open the picture. You see I've published this long setup before price reached that level. So why this level? Well, you can rewind this video to the beginning or to the middle of the first part, and you will see a detailed explanation why I was so confident about taking a long here in this zone. Okay, I had a lot of confidence. I might show that again, but let's stick to the things that are more important right now. So what was the outcome? Well, a little bit later, maybe an hour later, I've got the entry, right? I've got my take profit zone. I have explained why this take profit zone here, and I haven't explained why my stop loss is here. Well, if we are trading the support, if we are longing, of course, and naturally, the stop loss should be below the next levels of support. As you can notice, I am often using tight stop losses. Why? Well, that's how I trade. That's why I feel confident in my trades, because I have these zones, and I'm pretty sure that if an asset goes below or above a certain zone, my trade or my trade idea will be invalidated. So that's what we use the stop loss for, and of course we use it to mitigate the risk, to reduce the risk, and to increase the reward. So this trade was around 1 to 5, 1 to 4.6.7, and let's see what happened. Okay, before we do that, I will turn off this music for a moment. I will turn up the volume, okay, and I will play just a portion of the video that I made yesterday, which can be seen in today's video because I'm always merging 2 videos. So let's take a listen for a moment. What did I have to say here? So for now, I'm in this long. My midterm bias stays to the downside for the obvious reasons stated in the previous video and this one, but my current short-term bias stays to the upside because I believe, among other things, many people shorted this candle here and this range, and they will be punished if they don't close their short positions. Why am I taking profits here? Well, first, that's almost 4 or 5 risk to reward ratio. It's a structural retest, so this support, if I can call it like that, could be retested as resistance before continuing down. What else do I have? Well, I told you guys that every single tool is useful, so as long as you know how to use it, you will be able to analyze the market properly. Alrighty, so you see what did I have to say in the beginning of this video, or in the video, the first part that I made yesterday on 25th of September when I took that long. So at the end of this short portion, I said every tool is useful as long as you know how to use it, right? Of course, if you don't know how to use the tool, you will say, oh, I'm a perfect trader, this market is wrong, I am right, this tool is useless, blah blah blah. Now, why am I saying this? Well, first and foremost, let's take a look at the outcome of this trade. What do we have here? Well, as you can see, I was was I lucky enough, or was I skillful enough to take this trade? I don't know. Let's say I was lucky enough. I don't care. To me, it's important that this trade has played out perfectly as planned. So what do we have here? We have the same long, which was triggered here. I didn't exit my position, and this is exactly why sometimes, or in most of the times, I don't move my stop loss at break even, because these things tend to happen. Price goes up, it reverses back to chop out the traders who are not so confident in their longs, in their positions, and then it goes up to the target. What's funny about it is when I zoom in, you can see that the very top of the wick was my take profit, and it went there as planned. Why there? Well, we had this structural retest. I have explained that many times in this video, and besides that, let's do a simple fib retracement from this top to this bottom here. Give me a second, I need to change that to the regular pool. There we go. So what did we touch? Well, we touched the infamous 618, the safest place to exit the trade or to enter a trade, depending on the trade itself, right? So I don't want to brag about it. I have explained very clearly why I took this trade, why I took it here, why my entry was there, why my take profit was there, and why my stop loss was there. I was lucky or skillful enough to have my trade being fully played out, and it did play out as planned. So I will not brag about it, I just want to show you why I took that trade, and I showed you how to be fully hedged. So my swing short from these highs remains open, but that does not mean I shouldn't long. Okay, my midterm bias stays short for this week. I believe we will see lower targets, which I explained here. I will show that again because this is another weekly update, but I just wanted to prove you once again how you can trade both ways and how you can adjust your short-term, mid-term, or long-term bias. So, what do we have here? We have this long, and what did I say at the beginning of this video? When I played this first part of the video, I clearly said every single tool is useful as long as you know how to use it. Now, I tend to use my time properly, and I tend to invest my time into things that are useful. Sometimes, from time to time, when I see a trader full of himself who says something harsh like, oh, the RSI is useless, blah blah blah, you will never make it, etc. Sometimes I like to enter a discussion, and always, in most of the cases, it is useless to discuss with those people because they are full of BS, and they just like to keep bragging about what they know, while in reality they know nothing. So I had a little argument with someone, a random person with 10,000 followers, who said if you use indicators and oscillators, etc., you will never make it, you will never be a successful trader, blah blah this, blah blah that. That is one of the most stupid things I have ever heard, and I want to take a little bit of time to explain why is that very bad for you. Well, in life, people will mostly tell you that you can't succeed. People will focus on obstacles. People will focus on problems instead of solutions. And people will always tell you what you can't do, right? Why? Well, in majority of the cases, they couldn't make it, they couldn't do it, and they want everyone else not to make it and not to do something they couldn't do, alright? So there was this guy on Twitter. He was very confident. He, of course, tried to insult me. I don't know why. Maybe he's nervous. Maybe he didn't take his medicine today. I don't care. So he said that the RSI is completely useless, right? He said it's a lagging indicator. No shit, Sherlock. Yes, RSI is a lagging indicator, but you don't use it to predict the future. Just like any other tool. Fib retracement, fib extension, fib channel, I don't know, the triangle, the shapes, the fib wedge, the GAN box. You don't use it to predict the future. You use it as a tool to see what can happen in the future. And I told you many times, and I'll say it again, no one knows what will happen in the future. That's why you have the tools, right? You use the tools. And of course, if you don't know how to use the tool properly, you will get yourself hurt. So if you use a hammer to break the windows on other people's cars, of course police will catch you and you will end up being in jail. But if you use the hammer to build something, to make something, of course you can make a table, a desk, and you can sell it and you can earn money, right? So it's not about the tool, it is about who is using the tool, and it is about how are they using the tool. Why am I saying this? Well, I will turn this off. It is more than clear now. What did we have here? You can see this at the beginning of this video. Sorry for being so repetitive, but I feel very motivated to talk about this because this guy showed me how people can be blatantly wrong and stupid and stubborn, among other things. You should never be stubborn in the market. You should know that everything is relative and everything is subjected to a change. Let's turn on the line chart once again, guys. What did we say at the beginning of the video? We have lower lows, right? What do we have in the RSI? Higher lows. What is that? That is a regular bullish divergence. And then this guy comes and says, oh, divergences don't work, blah blah blah. Well, if they don't work, how did this move happen? Let's go back to the previous video of mine when I showed you the 4-hour divergence. What did we have here? Let's take a look. Let's make it bigger. Maybe someone cannot see very well. What do we have here? Higher high. I'm looking at the candle bodies. When you look at the divergences, never look at wicks because the RSI is being formed when the candle closes. It doesn't include, I'm sorry, the wicks. What do we have? We have the higher high in the price action. We have the lower high in the RSI. What is that? That is a regular bearish divergence. And if divergences do not work, then what is this? How did Bitcoin drop 5.4% if the divergences do not work? Let's go back. Let's backtest. Let's backtest it more. What do we have here in the price action? Let's turn on the line chart. Do we have a lower low? Yes, we do. RSI, what do we have? Do we have a higher low? Yes, we do. That's a regular bullish divergence. Let's see what is the move that has been produced from this bottom. Let's use the middle of this wick and let's use the first high. 9.91%, 10% move to the upside. And then useful idiots like that guy tell you, oh, divergences don't work because I said so. Okay, maybe you're just too You're not so smart to be able to use this tool in a good way, so that's why you say they don't work, and that is very harmful. So guys, if you watch my video, please tell yourself that if anyone tells you this doesn't work for some reason, don't listen to them. Try to use that tool, learn the tool, learn how to use it properly. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. You can say to yourself, okay, this tool is not useful to me personally. I will use another tool, okay? So, the market and life, it's all about freedom. It's all about using the tools that you have to improve your life or to improve your trading or your well-being on the market. So I've showed you 3 divergences in the past, let's say 10 days, 15 days. Let's go back. Let's go back to the daily divergences, shall we? Or even better, let's go to the weekly divergences and let's see if that guy who says divergences don't work is right. What do we have on the weekly chart? What do we see here? Do we see a lower low in the price action? Yes, we do. Do we see the higher low in the RSI? Yes, we do. Okay then. So let's see how big was this move. Okay, let's go back to the candle chart. Let's measure the move from the middle of this wick, for example, to the middle of this top wick. 100% move to the upside, and it's Bitcoin that we talk about. We don't talk about some altcoin or something like that. So does this divergence work? Yes, it does. Did it work? Yes. Did it play out? Yes. What was the move that happened? 100% move to the upside. What else do you want? Do you need more proof? Okay, no problem. Let's go back in time. Let's show a divergence that's not so popular, but still it can play out. So regular divergences are the reversal divergences. When they form, price has, or an asset, it has a chance to reverse. So this is a weekly chart. It's very powerful. That's why these moves are so powerful if the divergence plays out. What do we have here at this 52K top? We have a high and we have a lower high, right? What do we have in the RSI? We have a high and we have a higher high. What is that? That is a hidden, I'll type it, hidden bearish divergence. Okay? What does it mean? Well, hidden bearish divergence or hidden bullish divergence means that there is a chance an asset will continue the trend. So it means that the trend will not reverse, it will continue itself. What happened when this divergence was formed here at this 48K top? What happened? Well, we dropped from 48K to 15K, 70% drop. So do the divergences and indicators and tools and oscillators work? I will not tell you anything. You can make your own conclusion after watching this video, okay? Of course, if you have something to say, if you want to share your experience with the divergences and oscillators and tools, feel free to leave your comment below. I will make sure to read your comments and reply as soon as possible. So I have already put too much time into this guy and his utterly stupid statements about the oscillators and indicators and divergences. Let's go back to the weekly analysis. So I showed you my long. I showed you why I exited my long there. Okay, it is as clear as day. I'm happy this hedge long worked out perfectly. Now it's time to go back to the end of this video, to the end of this first weekly analysis. Sometimes when price ranges, etc., I will not be making videos because there's nothing much to say, and sometimes when I see something worth saying, I will make a video for you. So what did I have to say about this range, about this zone that we've been in for a long time? Today is 26th of September. We have entered this range on 17th of August, so 1 month and 9 days. We've been in this range for a long time, right? We've had some nice bounces, we've had some nice drops. Currently, what I see and what I said in the previous video and at the beginning of this video, this 4-hour bearish divergence is still in play. I said in my last video, if you remember, if you have watched it, if not, I suggest you to go back and watch it, it's pretty useful. I said, I believe this week will bring us lower targets, right? Lower targets. So what are those lower targets? I've talked about them. First, let's take a look at this anchored volume profile, right? So we have deviated above the value area high of the whole range. We have formed the 4-hour bearish divergence. I took the short. We kept dropping below the trend lines. We have retested the trend lines, and we have retested the value area high 2 times after that. We dropped, we had a reaction, now we were ranging. I was lucky enough to have this point of control reaction to the upside. I traded it, I exited my long because I said I will not be greedy, and I'm happy I could control myself, I wasn't greedy. So what do we have now? Why am I expecting lower targets? Well, first, these are the series of lower highs until proven otherwise. For me to believe that an asset, that Bitcoin, will go higher, I need few things to happen. I've talked about them in this video if you want to rewind. So the first thing I want to see, if I want to see higher targets, is Bitcoin reclaiming these trend lines on both log and non-log charts. You see, when I switch them, targets become different, right? So that should happen first. Second, this value area high of the range needs to be reclaimed as support somehow, if we want to talk about the higher targets. And we need to reclaim certain levels. If we assume, we cannot know, if we assume this is the bottom, we need to reclaim the golden pocket, right? And we need to reclaim this fib level here. Okay, so some things should happen in order for other things to happen too. Until then, I am inclined to believe we will retest the lows of this range, especially the value area low, and maybe these lows here. No one knows what's gonna happen, I'm just telling you what I see. Now, I've talked about this many times in this video and in the previous video, but just for the sake of your knowledge and for the sake of you taking your time to watch my videos, I'll show it again. Okay, so we have some bouncing spots. Okay, we have some bouncing spots. I have shown you why have I used these 2 rectangles, how did I get them, and why are they there. So you see this rectangle or point of control of the whole range already produced a nice upside move. It wasn't a big move, but it was a tradable move. I traded it, I exited my long luckily, and now I'm waiting to see the second reaction. If you ask me, this point of control might produce another bounce, which will be weaker, but I think eventually we will break the point of control and move towards the value area high, which is around 25.6, 25.5, etc. So of course, you can't have one confluence zone to be confident in a zone. You need to have more things. So let's turn them on one by one. Okay, this is a major fib extension of this wave here. I don't need it for now. I will turn it off. I have this trend fib extension. Oh, look. This fib level, which is, I can't tell you now, but does it matter? It doesn't matter. I measured the potential of this downwards wave. Okay, so this fib level is a little bit below the value area low, right? Let's use the fib retracement. I have measured what the downwards potential of this move up to the downside. Do we have something in the zone? No. So let's turn it off. What do we have here? Aha! I have measured the downwards potential of this move up. You see, from here to here. And look, wonder, we have 2 more fib levels within the zone that we talk about. And even if we switch from log to non-log chart, etc., we can see that the zones remain the same. We have one more. This is the fib retracement of the whole range from this top to this bottom, right? to get the downwards targets. And we have this fib level, which is almost at exactly at the same place as the value area low. So what do I see, guys? Well, today is Tuesday, right? We have 3 more days in the week and 2 more weekend days. Weekend days are usually slow, nothing much happens, and usually an asset goes sideways, especially Bitcoin in a low volatility environment. So what do I expect from Bitcoin in the next few days, since this is my first weekly analysis, right? I expect it to break the point of control in this middle range here and to move towards the, maybe it will do it like this, maybe it will do it like this, I don't know, and it doesn't matter. I think we will be retesting this zone in the next few days. I see lower targets, that's why I remain in my short, and besides all of these fib pulls, etc., I have a local pitchfork. What's interesting about it? Well, if I switch from log to non-log chart, I see that price or an asset, Bitcoin, can easily move towards these levels marked down here. Now let me turn off this local pitchfork. Let me turn on the macro pitchfork. Oh, now we have it. I'm not sure if you have watched my first video. If you haven't, scroll back, watch the first video, and you will see why these zones are important. This is a macro pitchfork. It's way bigger. Its zones produce larger moves like this one, right? So I will leave this rectangle here, and I will turn everything else off because I've shown you. What do we have here? Well, this is the golden pocket of the macro pitchfork. If we come back to this level, I would expect another stronger reaction upwards. Why? Because, well, the first reaction from the golden pocket and the next fib level here to the dollar produced a very strong move along with the 1 hour bullish divergence to the upside. So the second move will be strong, maybe not as equally strong as the first one, but the next reaction should be stronger than this reaction here. So I will be taking longs in these areas. I will try my best to post my long setups before they happen, and I'm repeating the same things all over again. I am not posting my exact long setups. I am posting a visual presentation of the zone and longs I would take in the area. The targets can and will vary, so please don't take them for granted. This is not a financial advice. I am not telling you where to long. I'm just showing you where I will long and how my setup would look like ideally. So I expect this zone to produce another strong move to the upside, and I will make sure to try and long that. As for my short, swing short, I will take profits partially. You will not see that here because you can't close these paper trades, these visual presentation of trades partially. But I might close 20 to 40% of my short in this area. Why? Because it's a strong confluence zone, and if this trend line wants to be broken, it will be broken in that bounce there. Maybe we consolidate a little bit below and shoot up. I told you at the beginning of this video I will always have 2 targets. Okay, I will always have at least 2 targets, and I will always have up targets above, and I will have targets below. So one scenario is that we find some support here in this zone, right? We found some solid support, we go up, we break the trend line, and we move higher back to 20 to this liquidity void here to reach 28, 29. Okay, that's one of the scenarios. The other scenario that I'm looking at is the continuation of the drop and this 4-hour bearish divergence being fully played out. Now, if that happens, I will take a good look at this macro pitchfork and I will say to myself, okay, this pitchfork has been with us since last year. Is that right? It was formed on 21st of November, and an asset, Bitcoin, reacted to its levels very nicely, right? Even on log or non-log chart, you can see Bitcoin respects all the levels. Now, what will I be looking at? I will be looking at the bottom of the pitchfork, which is naturally a very good place to long, just like the top of the pitchfork is a very good place to short, right? You can see that reaction here and reactions from the golden pocket here. So as for my swing short, I will fully close it if and when we reach this level here. It's too early to talk about that. Why? Well, it's too early. Okay, this range has been here for a full month. If Bitcoin wants to break it, it will take more time, usually. In the same way, this golden pocket produces a strong move in the opposite direction. If broken, and when broken, it can produce an equally strong move to the same direction as part of the continuation. So I will be looking closely at this golden pocket and how Bitcoin behaves within these diagonal zones. Okay? I will look at it very carefully. So if it's broken, I will expect us to see 23.7, 0.8, 0.9, and if we switch back to the non-log chart, this could be tricky, but we can go as low as 22, 21k. Of course, what is the issue here? Well, you can see that on the log chart, so this is a non-log chart, we have already touched the golden pocket. On the non-log chart, we see, on the log chart, we see that we haven't touched the golden pocket yet. So if that happens, and when that happens, I would expect a very strong upwards move if this diagonal zone holds. If it doesn't hold, well, I can expect an equally strong move to the opposite direction as the part of a continuation. Though all of those zones are tradable, but I don't want to go so far in the future. This is just a weekly analysis, so let me repeat for the end of this video. I am expecting lower targets. I expect these local lows to be broken, and I expect us to go to the levels that I've marked here, at least 25.6, if not lower. Eventually I will be trading this zone. So for this week, I expect us to see lower targets. I expect more ranging, and I seriously doubt we will break this range to the downside so easily or to the upside. So if you ask me what do I expect in the next week or 2 or 3, I expect more ranging with with lower targets below and more ranging to the sideways. Okay, so that's it, guys. I'm sorry for merging my videos, but I think it is better for you and for me to keep you updated, to make a video today, to make a video tomorrow, and then I can merge those two videos. You can easily see the timestamp, you can easily see when did I made those videos, etc. And I'm doing all of this for you, so you can easily see what do I see for this week. Once again, I don't want to be one of those irregular YouTubers who tell you leave a comment so I can see what you think. I can tell you that most of them do not care what you think, they just need the comments for the algorithm. Well, guess what? I also need the comments and your likes and your subs for the algorithm, but I promise you I will take my time and I will look at your comments. So if you find any value in my videos, if you think my videos can help someone else, your friend, someone you know, please feel free to share my video with the people you know. Feel free to like my video, it really means a lot to the growth of this channel and to me personally. And of course, if you want to see more of my videos, feel free to subscribe. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, whatever, I wish you a peaceful and a successful week. Let's see what happens. As always, Pragmatic Trading loves you and wishes you all the best. Bye bye.